Towards the far post, Riston, and it's in!
Payne, Barisha, Diamante!
Durante with a free header!
And the honour of Western United's first A-League goal goes to a familiar face, Bessart Barisha.
It's Connor Payne on the left.
Alessandro Diamante with the ball on a string and...
Oh, Diamante!
And the Western service crew are celebrating.
All right, welcome back to another week of the All Out West podcast. This week we've got myself, Lebby. We've also got Mase. And we've got Ross joining us too.
G'day.
So, how are we doing this week, guys, after a week off?
Yeah, doing all right. Unfortunate result on Monday. I thought we could have done a lot better, but I thought off the field was pretty good. Made a lot of noise. I'm excited for this weekend against Adelaide. Hopefully we get our first result, which we're probably a bit stiff to not have one already, but we'll see how we go. What about you, Ross?
Yeah, man. I don't really know if you can call it a week off because it feels like, we've had a weekend, then, game Monday, cup day yesterday, and then it's going to be Saturday before we're heading over to Adelaide. So, busy times, and we haven't quite got the results on the pitch, but I have faith that it'll turn. And as May said, lots of noise. We've got quite a good crew coming over to Adelaide as well. So hopefully that can really get them across the line this weekend. That'd be great.
Yeah. No rest for the wicked. No time off football, just a week off for the podcast, I meant. So we'll be catching up with a little bit more today. I'll get you to go through our Tarneit opener of the season, mate.
Yeah. Well, as you said, we had the week off from the pod. So we versed Western Sydney Wanderers in a big weekend opener. We had the Diwali on Saturday. There was heaps of festivities. A lot of the community got around Ironbark and potentially new members, and it's great to see Western United get around the community and support the whole of Tarneit, because we need those people in to see what we're about, and it adds to the culture of Western United. So that was a good Saturday night. Ended with fireworks, which was great for the kids, I suppose. Western Sydney Wanderers was a good game. I thought first half we started a bit how you going, but the second half we really came hard. Probably unfortunate to draw even. I think we probably should have taken that win, and you could probably argue that we should have taken round one against Wellington as well. But pretty unfortunate there. I think that when it comes down to it, we really need to turn these draws into wins, because it might start hurting us towards the pointy end of the season if we have a chance of making finals. So I just think we need to think of those things and maybe come with a better structure so that we finish with a bit of polish, and that's all that we need. What about you boys? What do you think about Western Sydney, Ross?
Yeah, obviously it was a great day out, great atmosphere, no issues whatsoever, getting the shuttle bus straight over to Tarneit. Perfect day out for it as well, weather-wise. It was interesting to see quite a few Man U jerseys in the crowd with Juan Mata. I think people were expecting him to put on a show, but young Dylan Leonard kept him in his back pocket all day until he got subbed off, so that was promising to see. And you're right, I think we need to, take these draws and convert them into wins, but obviously I think we're still trying to build something as well, across the first couple of weeks. And, especially that game, our back line was, 3 youth players, still trying to fit Iwasuki in up front, Tate Russell playing right back. There's still a bit of patience and time that's needed. But as you say, the second half, we sort of flew home. We hit the bar. We missed a header with a minute to go. Pretty stiff not to get a win. Got anything else on that one, Lebby?
Yeah, look, it seemed like a great day out for all. The performance was pretty decent from us for a young group of lads. Again, like the first game, coming from behind, showed a lot of grit, showed a lot of spirit, and might have nicked it at the end too. How was the Red Bull plane, boys? Did you guys get to experience that?
Yeah, no, the Red Bull plane was pretty cool, actually. I wasn't expecting too much, but it actually caught my eye pretty good. It was doing some flips and tricks, and a lot of the kids and families loved it too. I think it was very popular with everyone. So good on Western United for getting that sponsorship, and
Yeah.
Red Bull's fantastic for that. Yeah, absolutely.
100%. And I think, the playing's good for the kids. And obviously, we had the little Red Bull marquee bar as well, which was popular with some of the service crew.
Absolutely.
Some Red Bull vodkas and other Red Bull assorted cocktails, which were obviously quite handy. So, I think that'll also be a pretty popular feature of Ironbark game days throughout the season as well.
I noticed
bet
they
they
also
were
had the
fine,
Red Bull
guys.
couch.
Red Bull couch.
Yeah, I think they drew just a random winner, and someone got pitch side seats in the Red Bull couch. It looked pretty cool to me. So hopefully that sticks around and people can get the
That's the
opportunity.
first heard of that. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Anyway, guys, do we want to get on to our 3-2-1 votes for the game? I'll start off with you, Ross.
Against the Wanderers, I think I might give my 3 to Ibasuki. He was a big threat in the second half. He got the equaliser. I think he did pretty well. I'll go with 2 votes, as I say, to Dylan Leonard. I thought he was very composed for his first start in defence. And I think I'd probably give the 1 vote. It's a tricky one. There's a few that I could probably go with. I've really liked Shamoon's performances to start the season in place of Ben Garuccio. So I think I'll go with him.
Okay, nice. What about you, Mase?
So 3 votes. I'm going to throw Dylan Leonard at the top for me because he had to step up. He came in from an injured Donachie. I think he might have injured his calf laid out. And he needed to step up, and he did that. He's still so young, and he's still very inexperienced. So for him to go up to that next level when needed, we really needed him to hold that backline structure real well, and I think he did that. So I think he's going to be an exciting young prospect to come up and watch in the next few years. So we definitely need to keep an eye out for him. He gets my 3 votes. 2 votes, I think Angus Thurgate. I think Angus Thurgate had a good game again. He's really coming into his own this season, I think. So I feel like he's more comfortable. He's fitting in well in the team. So I think he's really liking his football, and I'm really liking watching him play the way he is. And my number 1 vote, probably Charbel Shamoon. I mean, you can't go wrong, really. He's young, he's fit, and we love to watch him. He holds that left wing position real well, especially when arguably the best left winger, Ben Garuccio's out. He has big socks to fill, and he does that. He holds up quite well. So it's going to be interesting to see when Garuccio comes back into the mix. The selections are going to be hard. How do you think, Levy?
Yeah, I'd say Dylan Leonard with 3 votes for sure. For a young man like that, our youngest ever player in an A-League game, to step up and just show the maturity and the class and the poise that he really did is quite impressive. So 3 votes to him. Somebody you guys didn't say, I'd actually give the 2 votes to Tate Russell on the opposite flank. I'd say he was very, very solid throughout the game. Probably not as flashy and as showy of a player as Shamoon is, which isn't necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. I like both of them. Quick spoiler, I'll give my number 1 to Shamoon and just chuck him in here at the same time. But along both of those wings, I found that Tate was a little bit more solid, a little bit more defensive-minded, but Shamoon was fantastic as well. So that's why he gets my 1 vote. Anyway, lads, do we want to have a quick review of the women's opener at Ironbark on Friday night?
Yeah. So the women opened up against Wellington. I went and popped down for a watch, and it was good. The Western Core was supporting, and everyone was getting around then. A lot of noise in the stands. They only had the pavilion open, which I didn't think was that great because obviously the TV shows the temporary grandstand, so it doesn't look that great for TV. But there is a lot of people there, and they are supporting on the side where the pavilion is. So Wellington went up, and they were playing pretty decent footy. It was pretty even at the start. They went 1-0 up, and then straight from the kickoff, the girls fired up. Chloe Lagazzo got the through ball in. She hit the shot. It was blocked, but managed to tap in off the rebound. And then the girls really tightened up, and they were just scoring at will. It was almost like they were scoring on will. Kaz Zimmerman was nailing the assists. She's really crucial in that middle there. I think it's a very good pickup to have her there, and hopefully she can control that team and that attacking field so that we score more goals like we did. We look very dangerous in the attacking forward, and hopefully we can keep it that way. I know, unfortunately, the girls have dropped short a little. The last couple of seasons dropped short, so hopefully we're looking very dangerous this season, and hopefully we can go all the way.
Yeah, did you end up catching a bit of that game as well, Ross? Or
No, I was actually out, but I was following on with the scores. I was thinking, what's going on? Because my flash score buzzed 5 times in about 40 minutes. So then I checked it at half time and it was 4-1. So I was pretty happy to see that. As you say, Mace, with the amount of talent that they've got in the side, I think it's going to be quite hard to look past them, hopefully, for an A-League championship. We've invested a lot in some young talent as well. You got Carly Johnson, Sasha Grove, Chloe Lincoln. Those 3 are all getting call-ups for the young Matildas, the Matildas. Then you've got, Avani Prakash, Wyndham local as well. These players are just going to continue to grow and become better. And, as they adjust to the Women's A-League, hopefully, that leadership, as you say, with Zimmerman, Lagazzo, and so on, can just really gel them and keep them really strong. So it's a good start, and I'm hoping to definitely get down to a few women's games this season. But yeah, it's great to see them win 4-1 to open up their account for season 24.
well said, Ross. Yeah, looking very strong. Let's hope we can go all the way this season, girls. So get around, support your local as well. Don't just go along to the men's games. The women's games are just as exciting, if not more exciting. So we'll get on to the city review now, boys. Again, I wasn't able to catch the women's game. I also wasn't able to catch the city game as I was on a flight. So I'll get you guys to go through this, starting with you, Mace. How was the day, and how was the sport, and how was the disappointing result at the end?
Yeah, that's right, Levy. The City game was unfortunate. I think we've played well the last 2 rounds, and we really should have done better. We were probably going into that game favourites against City, and we really didn't show up. I thought again we started to get better in the second half. A couple of attempts there, but overall just not our night. Andrew Nabute with a good goal and a few chances, but obviously not a good end to the night for him, being injured, as well as Marcotilio. So disappointing, especially when we've worked so hard and we've been unfortunate to take the draws first 2 rounds. We really need to take those wins when we can get them, because, as I said earlier, it's going to end up hurting us when we get to the pointy end of the season. Ross was there as well, so I'll get him to touch on it a bit more.
Yeah, I thought, Aloisi did well with his subs. He tried to get a bit of spark on, a bit of flair early in the second half. There are still some positives to take out of the game. I thought defensively, even though City were the far more attacking side, I thought defensively we did hold up. Obviously, we only conceded 1. And I think from memory, that was probably their only key chance at the game. They weren't peppering away. I know there was a moment where Sutton tried to claim one and it spilled out in front of him and he had to run and dive at it. But, defensively we were pretty solid. I think going forward, not to say that we lacked any creativity, but I think we just struggled. City were defensively very solid, and we tended to just turn the ball over with errant passes. They were able to pick their way back through us, and that gave them chances. And eventually, early in the second half, they got one through, and from where we were standing, we actually thought he might have been offside. Quick turn to the scoreboard, and he was well on. So, there's not much we could do about that, other than hope for a better performance against Adelaide.
Yeah, look, we'll go on to next week. Again, I didn't get to catch the match. I've just seen the highlights and all that. It really only seems that we had one kind of opportunity where we really could have scored from, where, look, the ball could have gone anywhere from a deflection on the defender's legs. But at that point, you're just hoping for a little bit of luck. So I think next week we have to be a bit more clinical going forward. But anyway, you guys, I'll sit out this one this week. But what are your 3-2-1 votes?
Geez, 3-2-1 votes. It's probably a bit hard. I think Riku Danzaki deserves to be 3. I think he tried well and he got balls in certain positions. He had a couple good shots, but he just lacked that polish. Probably a couple times he probably should have scored. But he's starting to surprise me. I don't think he did much last season, but he scores goals when he needs to. So once he gets his head around that, I think he's going to be dangerous and very, very underrated for us.
Well, he scored our first ever goal at Ironbark, didn't he? That claim goes to him, I'm pretty sure. So for the men's team, at least. But
Yeah.
Impressive again.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. 2 votes. 2 votes. I reckon I'm going to go the goalkeeper, Matt Sutton. Matt Sutton did all right. A few good saves. I mean, I think Melbourne City had about 4 shots on target and maybe 12 or 13 shots. And I thought he held up well. There was a lot of pressure put on our defensive line. And there was a few times where he had to deal with pretty tricky situations. And I think given his experience in the A-League, which is probably minimal, he held up pretty well. I think he probably stands toe-to-toe with Heward Bell at the minute, and I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. He's really showing and putting a case forward that he deserves to be starting like he is. So I'll trust Aloisi with that one. And 1 vote, I think Abel Wallity. I think he came on as a super sub. He's very agile. His movement on the ball's fantastic for a young bloke. And he changes the game so quickly. We were able to put so much pressure on the ball up the wing when he came on, and he kind of leaves players stuttering, and they're not quite sure how to deal with his agility and his pace on the ball. So I'd really like to see more of him because he does make an impact as soon as he comes on. And being young and hopefully with us for a while, he's going to blossom into a bright player.
For sure.
Yeah, but that's all from me.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with a couple of your players for your votes. I think I'll switch it around and give Sutton the 3. I thought he held up pretty well, as you said. Doing really well to start over Heward Bell at the moment. I'll go with my 2. I'm actually going to go with Wallity because I thought there were a couple moments where he got into really dangerous areas, particularly down the right-hand side. And I know the service crew's got a couple of good songs for him, which are really firing him up as well. So that's great to see. I'm going to give 1 vote to Seb Pasquale when he came on. I was intrigued when we heard that Bozanovsky was starting pre-game. Not sure whether that was fitness-related for Seb or just rewarding form in training. But I thought Pasquale did well to sort of steady the midfield. He sort of gave us something a little bit different. I thought we were a bit flat sometimes coming through the middle, turning the ball over. He kept the ball in, possession in good areas. He was able to get a couple of forward passes going. Obviously, it's a tricky game to definitively award votes where I think collectively as a team we were a bit flat. But, obviously I think those 2 subs that came on there did really well. So I'll give Pasquale my 1.
Yep, good. Anyway, if we get to the quick results from around the grounds for the past 2 rounds, as we've missed them, match day 2, we had Newcastle Jets defeating Macarthur away from home, which was a bit of a shock. Adelaide United in their first game and first home game of the season drew 1-1 with Central Coast. Melbourne Victory got a big away win over Melbourne City, 3-1. Wellington Phoenix continued Perth's miserable start to the season with a 2-0 away win. Auckland FC with their second victory in a row in the league thanks to a late goal, beating Sydney FC 1-0, along with our 1-1 draw with the Wanderers. And in match day 3, Brisbane Roar falling to Sydney FC's late goal to lose the game 3-2 in a thriller. Auckland get their third win on the trot in the big derby against the Wellington Phoenix in Wellington. Central Coast and Perth Glory play out a 0-0 draw. In the game of the round, Adelaide United beat Western Sydney Wanderers away from home 4-3, and Melbourne Victory beat Macarthur 2-1 before we fell to City 1-0. Anyway, guys, on to our next game, which is the big away game in Adelaide. Do we want to go through that, fellas? Because I know you two are both heading there.
Yep. It's going to be exciting. I've been looking forward to this one, and I think a lot of the boys who are heading up are looking forward to this one. I think it's very winnable. You know, we've got old players like Dylan Perez who plays up there. Obviously, we've signed Ibasuki who came from there, so it's going to be an interesting game for both sides, I think. And it's going to be interesting to see how Ibasuki fares being back there for the first time. So what a game to be at. But I think we really need to put our foot down and try for the win this game. So here's hoping that we can do that. But it's going to be a good trip with the boys, and hopefully we get the win.
Yeah, look, I'm definitely very, very excited for it as well. It's actually going to be my first away travel for Western United, so I'm quite looking forward to that. Managed to get travelling in luxury on the plane. So originally we were planning on driving over, but we thought, no, I'm not doing 16 hours. So got a flight over, which I'm really looking forward to. Should be a great weekend away. And I think with Adelaide conceding 3 goals last weekend and, you know, the reported large contingent travelling over from Western Melbourne, I think if we can get a couple of goals on them early, hold them out, you know, John Eloise special. Maybe even a 1-0. I'll take a 1-0 at this stage, you know. Hopefully we can get a result, which would be very good. Although I know they are quite formidable at home. And as they scored 4, they've still got the capacity to score as well. So hopefully, hope for the best. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, of course. Look, we've had a couple of successes over the years in Adelaide, which I've been fortunate to be able to go to 2 of them. Great to see another large fan base travelling over. Look out for the Western Service crew in that top right corner of the TV. If you're thinking about going over, you won't be alone. You'll have plenty of friendly faces there. And the Adelaide fans are a good bunch of people too. Always welcoming. So it'll just be a good day around. Hopefully we can get a good performance, but hopefully it's just a great game as well. So what do you guys reckon the result will be?
Adelaide have been in pretty good form, I think. They've, they impressed me when I watched them on the weekend, and I think it's going to be very tough.
Well, they haven't lost a game yet.
So I think we can match them if we put our best foot forward, we can match them. But it's obviously going to be very tough. Probably our toughest game to date, I think. So we're gonna learn a lot, that's for sure, and it's going to test our defensive line. We've held up obviously pretty well over the last couple of weeks, but we definitely need to put away our chances when we get them. If we can't score, then it's just going to be a nightmare, and Adelaide are going to get that counter, and they're going to punish us every single time. So we have to hold strong. As Ross said, if we can get a couple goals on the board early, and then just hold them off, I think it should be all right. But I'm hoping for the win, but I'll take a draw. But I definitely hope we win.
Score 1?
2-1.
Adelaide or Ross?
Western.
Beautiful. Ross, what about you?
Let's go with the bold prediction. Let's go 2-0 Western. Let's take it.
Ooh.
Keep a clean sheet.
Beautiful.
Come out, fire.
Would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
it would be our
very
first
good.
clean sheet of the season too, which we desperately need. Because because our goalkeepers haven't played
Yeah,
badly,
I mean,
especially starting from the
ideally,
last game. So, look, I would probably be a bit more realistic, but we have had some good performances and good results in Adelaide. So I'm thinking a 2-2 draw, a good entertaining game for everybody on the day, and nobody goes home miserable that way. So let's quickly run through the rest of the games for the round. On Friday night, Western Sydney Wanderers host the Newcastle Jets. What are your predictions for that, boys? Quickly.
Look, Newcastle have been in pretty good form. I know our favourite boy Ryan Scott's in goals there, and he's having an outstanding season so far. Obviously saving that penalty on the weekend. But Western Sydney have been strong, and we found that out when they came to Ironbark. But that being said, I think Newcastle might get the chocolates there, 1-0, I'm going to say. Give them the benefit of the doubt.
Ross?
I think I'm going to go the other way. I think the Wanderers at home will be too strong to hold out. They played okay against us. They played okay against Sydney FC round 1 as well. So I think they'll probably win 2-0 at home.
Yeah, look, I'm not too sure, but I'm going to say a 1-1 draw, just to split the middle again, boys, because I can't see either team keeping a clean sheet. As good as Scotty is, Western Sydney Wanderers have been quite good going forward, but they do look a bit frail at the back, so I'll go with 1-1. Anyway, on to Brisbane and Melbourne Victory in Melbourne on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I think Melbourne Victory have been relatively good this season. They're in top form. I think they're going to win this pretty easily. I think it's going to be 3-0.
Yep. Ross?
Yeah, they're at Amy Park. They had a good win there against Macarthur last weekend. And Brisbane Roar were unlucky to actually go down to Sydney FC. That was at home, though. So I can see the Roar getting a goal on the board, but it's just a matter of how many Victory put back past them. So maybe I'll take 3-1 for Victory.
Yep. Unanimous again. I'm going to go with Melbourne Victory, and I'm going to go with Mase 3-0. Victory have been great this season. Raw haven't been. They're going to be far too strong for them. And then on to Sunday, we've got 3 different games. The first one being Central Coast hosting Wellington Phoenix. We'll start with you, Ross.
Yeah, it's in Gosford. I think these two teams are hard to split. Wellington, from what I've seen of them, they played well against us. They were a bit stiff, I think, in the New Zealand derby last weekend against Auckland. Obviously, the first goal they conceded came from a keeper error, and then they sort of got caught on the counter going for an equaliser in the 94th minute or something like that. The Mariners have been decent as well. I think at home, I might take them 1-0, just to sneak one. Although they did struggle against Perth last week, so you never know.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you on that one, Ross. Mariners, bit disappointing last week, but they've had a solid start to the season. Haven't lost a game, but haven't won yet. I think this is the one they get. What about you, Mace?
Yeah, I think I'm probably going to take the draw there, 1-1 draw. As Ross said, they're a bit hard to split, those two. Wellington have started relatively well, and so have Central Coast. I'd probably like to see more, given their lineup side. But yeah, I think I'll take the 1-1 draw there.
Beautiful. On to Sydney versus Macarthur in Sydney. Mace?
I'd like to see Sydney win that. I think Sydney will win that, maybe 2-1. 2-1. I think Macarthur, they play well when they get their structure right, and all the boys are attacking well. You got Tommy Uscock. He's solid down back there.
Very solid.
Yeah, and yeah, I think he holds up very well. So I think it's going to be 2-1 for yeah.
Roscoe?
I reckon I'm going to take this one as my boil over of the round. I think
Ooh.
Macarthur can cause a bit of an upset here. Sydney FC conceded twice to the Raw, and I don't really rate them all that much. I think they're handy for a goal in games, but they tend to be quite poor defensively, which is why they lost. But against Macarthur, I think, Valère Germain, Jed Drew, those kinds of players can be very dangerous at times. And I think, this game could be a matter of one goal going either way. I'm going to take it the way of the Bulls. I know Sydney are absolutely stacked up top, but I'm going to take it the way of the Bulls, 1-0.
Bold. Can't agree with you there, though. I think Sydney are going to be too strong. They were a bit unlucky against Auckland after a Champions League week or a League 2 Europa League for the Asian, as you'd call it over there, week. So they were a bit unlucky there. And apart from that, they've looked solid, 2 wins from 2. So I'd say Sydney are going to get the 2-0 win. Anyway, boys, we're getting close to the end. Quick beer of the week shout out. This week we're going to go for the good old Miller's Draft. So cheers to all of you.
Woohoo, the Miller's Draft. Can't go wrong.
Not going to be able to pop that properly, so here's one I've set up from earlier. All right. Again, follow us on all of our socials. We appreciate all your support. We're glad that you're glad that the podcast is back. And we'll see you all next week. Hope to see a lot of faces on the tally in Adelaide. Hope you boys have a fantastic time. And all West, aren't we?
All West, aren't we? And just before we go, I just want to plug that watch party for those who aren't going to Adelaide. There's going to be a watch party on Saturday night at the Park Hotel. So get on the Western United socials and check that out. But apart from that, it's been a good one, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Towards the far post, Riston, and it's in!
Payne, Barisha, Diamante.
Durante with a free header.
And the honour of Western United's first A-League goal goes to a familiar face. Bessart, Barisha.
Connor Payne on the left.
Alessandro Diamante with the ball on a string. And
Oh, Diamante!
And the Western service crew are celebrating.